Most workplace AI assistants, or AI agents as some would call them, do one or two things well. They help you produce content faster, draft an email, summarize a document, translate something, or, at best, they can help you resurface some information buried in the company's database. Find a policy. Answer a question on a procedure. That's useful, but it's a long way from running a business process. AI Studio is Zenphi's answer to this gap. It lets you build Workspace AI agents and AI assistants that don't just answer questions. They trigger workflows, collect data, execute approvals, and update records directly from Google Chat. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you build one. The mental model for AI Studio is straightforward. An agent in AI Studio is not a standalone AI system. It's a conversational interface on top of workflows and data that already exist on the Zenphi platform. So the first thing you need is a workflow. Here's the expense approval workflow we've already built in Zenphi. It collects expense details in a form, finds a relevant manager to approve it with, routes the request through an approval chain, logs the request in a database expenses table, sets up outcomes such as approved or rejected, reminders, and escalation logic, what to do if no approval was explicitly granted within the expiry deadline. Then it goes ahead and updates the expenses table with the outcome and current status. This workflow is already running in production. What we're building now is the agent that lets employees interact with it through a conversation, without needing to know any of that complexity is underneath. Let me open AI Studio. I'll create a new agent and walk through the setup. Let's first connect our agent to a workspace that contains our workflow. Then choose the expense reimbursement workflow. Next, connect all necessary tables that the agent will need to use as data sources to be able to answer the questions and perform necessary actions, like logging the status of the request. Tables is where you also set up the filters. You can specify what data the agent will be able to access. For example, in my case, I want AI agent to only be able to access data related to the user it's interacting with, or the manager of this user. The filtering system is worth pausing on for a second. This is not an afterthought. It's built into the Workplace AI agent configuration itself. The agent cannot return data it isn't permitted to return, regardless of how the question is phrased. You're not relying on the AI to decide what's appropriate to share. The access rules are enforced at the data layer. Next, you can create a detailed description of the AI agents and add behavioral guidelines. They define how the agent handles the conversation. You can see I've told it to collect information one field at a time, not all at once, to present a summary and ask for confirmation before triggering the workflow, and to handle missing or invalid inputs politely rather than failing silently. Also, a great thing about AI Studio is that you can use ZAIA, Zenphi's AI assistant, to help you create proper behavioral guidelines for the agents. Once the guidelines are saved, the agent is ready. I choose to publish it to Google Chat, and from that point, any employee in the workspace can open the AI assistant in Google Chat and start a conversation related to their expenses. Now let's test how it's going to look like from the user's perspective. Here, I added Zenphi Assistant as an app to Google Chat and asking it about the status of my latest expense submission. The assistant just replied with the details: what type of expense submission, when it was submitted, what is the status. Looks good. Let's take it a step further. I want to find out if anyone on my team has recently submitted any expense report as well. Remember, the agent was set up in a way to allow a manager or a team lead to have access to their team members' requests. Here I can see that, indeed, one of my team members has submitted an expense approval form. Let's test the filtering system further, if I'm able to get access to my boss's expenses and approval statuses. Nope, I can only see expenses related to me and my direct team members. What I'd like to test if this assistant is able to help me actually perform some actions instead of just answering the questions. Here, I had an update of my employee expense approval status. I want to go ahead and approve it. Perfect. Looks like the AI agent created in Zenphi's AI Studio actually helped me to perform an operational action instead of just answering a question or writing a copy. Let's run one more test. I also want to use the agent to trigger an expense approval workflow without filling in the form. Let's say I need to submit a software subscription invoice and allocate it to marketing-related expenses. For this specific use case, I want to be reimbursed. The AI agent is asking me to submit an invoice. Here, I can upload the one that I have received just recently. Looks great. My expense reimbursement request has been submitted. The AI assistant did the job. The same approach builds a completely different agent for a completely different process. The incident report agent connects to an incident logging workflow that collects the details of a workplace incident, routes it to the relevant manager for review, links it to the correct office or location, and saves everything to an incidents table. This is one more. A Google admin agent that helps users reset passwords and create new Google Groups upon request. Will save your IT teams hours and hours of manual work. Same approach, same logic, same predictable outcome. Here's what makes this compound over time. Every agent you build in AI Studio adds another capability to Google Chat for your employees. An expense agent, an incident reporting agent, an IT access request agent, an onboarding agent. Each one connects to a different workflow, a different table, a different set of access rules, but they all live in the same place, and employees interact with all of them the same way, by starting a conversation. With Zenphi AI Studio, you're not building a chatbot. You're building a governed operational layer that sits inside the tool your employees are already in every day. If you want to see how it would work with your specific processes, feel free to book a call with our team. Or just go ahead and sign up for Zenphi's 7 days free trial. We don't request credit card details or force you into the sales calls. Thanks for watching.